What if on a beautiful day you summon a goblin? What would you do when, in despair and ready to give up on life, you suddenly realize that the seemingly ordinary goblin before you is actually the king of goblins? Moreover, its level has reached 999. A single blow from it could obliterate a god-tier hero. Let's watch the twisted journey of our main guy, Cain, and his goblin demon. In the chaos, the air felt scorched by sweltering heat. A knight, drenched in sweat, panted heavily, leaning on his sword, his face contorted with exhaustion. This was a high-difficulty dungeon. Before him, his comrades faced a colossal creature. Level 67 wingless dragon, Barumers. The dragon opened its maw wide, roaring as blazing red sparks gathered into a giant fireball. Its shriek was deafening, splitting skulls. The entire group of warriors was forced back by its terrifying power. It's coming. Among them was an old man with white hair and beard, his eyes full of anxiety. I don't know if my defensive skills can block it this time. Suddenly, his eyes widened. Wait, what's that? Following his gaze, ahead of Barumers, a small, green foot appeared. A short creature, clad in tattered rags, was hopping about fearlessly. The creature carried only a simple wooden club, facing the dragon as if oblivious to the imminent death awaiting it. A goblin. It stuck out its tongue, its face scrunched up mischievously, then shrieked, "Key! What's a goblin doing here?" Barumers roared in anger, launching a fireball towards the crowd. The torrent of flame surged with destructive power, threatening to incinerate everything. The goblin remained unharmed. It burst into excited laughter. "Key!" Then it swung the club in its hand. In an instant, it swiped sideways, a blow so fast the human I couldn't follow. A second later, the entire battlefield fell silent. Everyone was stunned by what had happened. Crazy! It didn't just slash, it obliterated the dragon. Below, where the dragon had stood, the colossal dragon's upper body had vanished. Only its charred lower half remained, flames still raging around it. The goblin stood before the dragon's remains, a tiny speck. Murmurs spread through the crowd. The goblin took down Barumers in a single blow. A monster attacking another monster? Could it be a summoned creature? Amidst the chaos, the white-bearded man raised his hand, pointing to the hilltop. "Look over there. There's someone on the hilltop." It was a young man, his mouth stretched in a wide, almost ear-to-ear grin, his tongue lolling out demonically. "It's him." The young man stood on a high rocky outcrop. All eyes were on him. Below the young man, the goblin still stood before the dragon's corpse. The entire area seemed engulfed in a sea of fire. People exclaimed, "It's the summoner." Cain, the Goblin Summoner, was currently a worker at a construction site. He was hauling a large sack on his shoulder under the harsh sun, sweat pouring down. "Where can I put this?" a coworker asked. "Is he in a good mood?" "He's smiling while working," another commented. Cain dropped the sack. "Yeah, I'm Cain, the goblin," he muttered to himself, chugging water. "Of course, I'm a nobody. My place is a low-level dungeon, a character who can never escape it." He sat down, looked up at the sky, and sighed. While stories of people hitting the lottery and becoming super rich overnight were common, a goblin, no matter how much EXP he gained, would always just be a goblin, or so he felt about his own prospects. A voice spoke up beside him. "Have you heard about Old Man Pops?" This piqued Cain's curiosity. He glanced over. It was some middle-aged co-workers, warming themselves by a fire and gossiping. "Heard he's been so busy playing Heaven's Gate. Lately, he hasn't even come to work. Something about getting a hidden class." The other person chimed in. "A hidden class?" He struck gold then. That kind of thing means a huge haul you watch. Cain wondered, a hidden class? Heaven's Gate. Images illustrating the game, Heaven's Gate, appeared in Cain's mind. Knights and monsters, people fighting for loot. The fully immersive remorque was all the rage these days. Its realism was so intense, it made people forget reality. People played the game by lying on a bed and wearing VR goggles to enter that world. Of course, the technology was too advanced and the equipment too expensive. But thanks to countless internet cafes nationwide converting to catch the trend, even poor people like him could easily enjoy it. And what does such high demand lead to? People would use the loot they earned in the game to convert into real money. Real-world currency started pouring into the game, and in-game items became real-world currency. Cain mused, "At first I enjoyed it too. Back then, he had struggled hard in the game. Watch this. Ultimate skill," the system announced. Stone smashing skill. You obtained 3 ore pieces. He screamed at the sky in frustration. Damn it. This is so stupid. After all that grinding, now I have to grind even more. Even here, I'm drowning in debt. He burst into tears like a child. When will it be my turn to become a legendary hero, date a beautiful party member, and then get married? Heaven's Gate, my ass. No matter how much or I mine. He held a high-grade blue recovery crystal in his hand. Damn, if I sell this, I could get at least 300K for it, huh? Kane's face turned more sinister than ever. He cherished the blue crystal in his hand. This is it. This is why I mine. Ah. A voice spoke up beside him. Hold on. Kane looked over. It was an incredibly beautiful, white-haired girl with 2 men behind her. A girl, and she's gorgeous. She wore a form-fitting cherry-red outfit. You mine here, every day? Then your mining skill must be pretty high, huh? Kane replied, It's decent. What's up? She continued. We encountered a dungeon, but a giant boulder is blocking the way. They were all standing in a marble cave filled with crystal or deposits. Our group is strong, but we don't know anything about mining. She looked around with a pitiful expression. We were hoping a talented miner like you could help. Kane was flustered. Well, I have the skill, but my level is too low to safely enter a dungeon. The dwarfish man beside her spoke up. We'll take care of the monsters. You just follow us and mine. He then added, Oh, you think just because I'm a dwarf, I'm good at mining, right? And muttered, What else are dwarves good for? They can't help in a fight, so they might as well just die. Kane didn't know how to respond, his face blank. He pondered, if I join their party, I'll get experience and maybe even find high grade ore. Not bad, but this dangerous cave area, how many enemies are there? Will I be safe deep in the dungeon? Although you can revive after dying in this game. However, there was one thing that always made Kane hesitate. But in this game there's that. The girl suddenly grabbed his hand, rubbing it against herself and starting to sway. I'm sorry, it's just, my ideal type is a miner with strong hands. I can't help myself. If you don't want to, that's okay too. Kane startled, flustered, his face turning red. I want to. By now, sweat was pouring down Kane's body, and he was trembling. He gripped his pickaxe. What nonsense am I spouting? Before Kane was a gray wolf, level 7, a lower level monster than I thought. There were 5 wolves surrounding him. One slowly approached, but I'm still lower level than it. A wolf lunged. Kane threw his hands in front of his face. Mommy, the girl shouted, don't move. A large flame shot past his face. Attack numbers flashed, 2748, 2855, 2976, 2765. Skill, Salamander's Blaze. Kane still had his eyes squeezed shut. The girl was Catherine Lee, a level 39 witch. She asked with concern, Are you okay? Are you hurt anywhere? Behind her was the chaos caused by the flames. Kane, surprised and stunned, said, Thanks for your help. He thought. She wiped out the wolf pack in one incredibly strong hit. Catherine wiped away tears, looking extremely pitiful. She expressed, You worry me so much. Please, don't stray far from me. It's dangerous. Kane pursed his lips, eyes wide. She want me by her side forever. Have I finally found my rosy happiness? Catherine's other male teammate was extremely arrogant. He dodged the gray wolf's attacks. No surprise there. He grabbed the staff from his back. We're not the type to fool around in dungeons like this. He swung the staff, annihilating the wolves. Attack numbers flashed. 1800, 1836, 1798. System. Skill. Giant swing activated. He returned to a defensive stance. A suspicious or vein that can only be opened with skill. We came to see what's inside. We ignored it before because investing points in gathering skills like mining is a waste. Wolf fangs and wolf pelts. So now we need people like you to help. Hearing this, Kane flinched. People like me? What does he mean, people like me? His mind was now a complex mess of thoughts clashing with reality. Damn it, this guy sees me as a fool, doesn't he? Without me, he can't even mine. Kane seethed. Unbeknownst to him, he had moved behind the man, his eyes filled with killing intent. Those words, I can't ignore them. You think I don't have combat skills? He swung his pickaxe over his head, gritted his teeth, and angrily struck the ground. I don't. Kane tried to dig into the ground. Damn it, not even one. Over on the side, the dwarf was talking to the arrogant man. Are you sure the info you bought is correct? If there's nothing behind that, or we're all at a huge loss. The man replied, It better be. He frowned. Otherwise, you'll pay the price for wasting our time in this garbage dungeon. Kane tried to dig, feeling belittled, risking my life for a few measly coins. I'm so used to it, I don't even get angry anymore. And that's what pisses me off. Calm down. Just do your job, get paid, and leave. This is just another normal day. He swung his pickaxe with all his might, shouting, just another boring. The ground began to crack. The cave started to shake, rocks falling everywhere. Everyone was surprised. What is this? Before everyone's eyes was an incredibly intricate door. Kane cheered. A hidden dungeon. The arrogant man was surprised. No way. We found a hidden dungeon. The dwarf was equally shocked. We can get special rewards and even change to a hidden class. Kane was excited. We hit the jackpot. Catherine stood beside him, her eyes ice cold, filled with killing intent. She repeated, we. From behind, the arrogant man rushed forward, attacking Kane, his eyes blazing red like fire. Meanwhile, Kane was still rejoicing, oblivious to the approaching danger. Now I can change my life, just like old man Pops. The man slammed his staff into Kane. System. PK mode activated. Kane screamed in pain, collapsing to the ground with a sharp drop in stats. Minus 480 HP. Damn. Bastard. I can't breathe. Damn it. Someone's voice echoed. Finding this hidden dungeon was really hard. Catherine and the dwarf stood before him, sneering. And it's in a low-level area, too. Plus, you need those stupid mining skills to even get in. She continued, don't take it personally. We did all the fighting. You just tag along, right? Kane looked up angrily. So these are the ones attacking me. Cowards. They knew about the hidden dungeon from the start. The man grabbed Kane's head, yanking it up, a weaponized chain whirling in his hand. You knew? Of course, you idiot. You think we're free enough to come here and play? But since you contributed, I'll make it quick. He threw Kane into the air. Kane opened his eyes, panting, his face pale, drenched in sweat. I'm still in the dungeon. They didn't kill me. Maybe they still have some conscience. However, it wasn't that the group had spared him. In his hand, he was holding a premium recovery crystal. He had just used it. Premium recovery crystal restores 100% HP to the player when their HP reaches 0. The stone cracked in two in his hand. Wait, didn't I just revive? My 300,001. You bastards. He slammed his hand on the ground, screaming in anguish. Damn it, my money. Kane looked ahead. The entrance to the hidden dungeon. Inside was a pitch-black space. The light from outside couldn't reach it. The hidden dungeon gate is still open, meaning the dungeon hasn't been cleared yet. He gritted his teeth, crawling forward. You think I'll give up after losing my recovery crystal? Not a chance. I'll ruin your fun and turn the tables. Kane advanced into the dungeon. You bastards. You dare look down on me? Inside, it was as dark as a cosmic abyss, completely different from the brightness outside. I'll become your worst nightmare. Kane rushed forward. Just you wait, hidden dungeon. He leaped inside, but in front of him wasn't flat ground. It was a tunnel leading underground. Kane's action was no different from delivering himself to death. Son of a stairs. Kane fell to the ground, his stats dropping by another 80 HP. He face-planted, stairs right at the entrance. He lay on the floor. His HP was now only 20. But at least I'm in, huh? This must be the hidden dungeon. Kane was inside the dungeon, the Goblin Shrine. Before him was a statue of a Goblin Lord sitting on a throne. He sat up. Holy crap, what's with that arrogant-looking goblin on the throne? He walked around. But a Goblin Shrine? Don't tell me there are only goblins here. A hidden dungeon should be much harder to beat. Is this all a low-level hidden dungeon amounts to? So boring. Kane suddenly felt strange. He looked around. It's too quiet. Where are they? His foot stepped on a strange object. Kane looked down. What's this? It was the dwarf defeated. He lay on the floor, covered in blood, his whole body trembling. Kane jumped back, startled, screaming, "Hack!" Kane was terrified. It's the dwarf from before. What the hell? The dwarf looked at him, trembling. Send a message. Can you use a revive skill? Kane replied. What kind of skill is that? He scratched his head. Is he avoiding hitting the revive button so he doesn't miss out on the hidden dungeon? Straight back to the village? Greedy bastard. The system announced again, this time with a red warning bar. Warning, this is a high difficulty dungeon, far exceeding your level. Please leave the dungeon immediately. Kane's face turned pale. What? Just then, a terrifying scream echoed. Kaya! He turned his head. That voice. It was the arrogant man, grasped by a giant monster's hand, his entire body lifted into the air, his eyes wide and white. And Catherine, she was being stomped on by the monster's foot. This is the Goblin Shrine? Cain faced a level 80 monster named Gag. It had long, gangly limbs, 2 horns on its head, and a mouth like a cosmic abyss. Its whole body emitted an ominous red glow. He was stunned. What the hell is this thing? Cain froze. Level 80? Are you kidding me? The monster lifted the man closer to its mouth, full of razor-sharp teeth. Instantly, it bit him in half, blood spraying everywhere, painting the area red. The man screamed in agony. Kia! Witnessing such a horrifying scene, Cain felt extremely nauseous. He put his hand to his mouth. Ulp! This is the worst-case scenario. Many games have pursued realism before, but Heaven's Gate went so far as to integrate the sense of touch. What Cain remembered now was those VR goggles. Of course, there's a safety system, so if you're attacked by monsters of the same level or lower, the damage isn't significant. Catherine cried out to him, terrified beyond belief. Save me, but if you get hit by a monster tens of levels higher, that's a different story. Cain shouted at her, save your ass. What can I do against that thing? The effects of this game were incredibly cruel. Even if a character revived, the pain and trauma wouldn't disappear. They directly affected the brain. In severe cases, it could cause brain death or even actual death. Realizing this, Cain felt this place was too dangerous for him. He tiptoed away, ready to flee. Psychological shock. I'm quitting. I can't let that thing rip me apart. He ran continuously towards the gate. This isn't my fault. You guys abandoned me first. I'm weak, so I'm useless. So. He laughed maniacally, tears streaming down his face. Even if I'm alone, I have to survive, right? Instantly, the system popped up. The Goblin Lord empathizes with your cowardice and weakness. Cain looked at the system panel in front of him, bewildered. What the hell? Goblin Lord. He looked at the giant goblin statue sitting on the throne. Me weak and cowardly? He gritted his teeth. You think I wanted to be like this? Catherine tried to reach out and cast magic, even though she was trembling with fear. You think I chose to be powerless? If I had even a little bit of power, I wouldn't have run. But that power is nothing. The monster still easily crushed Catherine. Streams of past memories flooded Cain's mind. Images of him working as a laborer at the construction site. I want a decent job, not to be looked down upon. Images of him mining in this dungeon. I want to fight monsters, not dig rocks, with ultimate skills like everyone else. Because of the debt my parents left behind, which I didn't even know about, I grew up unable to do anything I wanted. He confessed, resentfully expressing the long-suppressed feelings, tears, and snot streaming down his face. And you call me weak? Why should I suffer such humiliation? What did I do wrong? He shouted at the goblin statue. Who are you to look down on me from up there? You're just a goblin. I'm looked down on in real life and in the game, and now even a goblin pities me. Cain's aggrieved voice seemed to echo throughout the hidden dungeon. Fine, I'm a goblin, so what? Damn it. Instantly, the system chimed repeatedly. You are now an honorary goblin. Goblins will now assist you at all times. You have met the conditions to change to a hidden profession. Do you wish to change your profession to Goblin Summoner? Cain looked at the notifications on the system panel. Hidden profession? Goblin Summoner? This is a hidden class? Of course, he wouldn't easily compromise after everything he'd been through. He gave a grotesque smile. Are you kidding me? Decline. However, the system still updated and gave him the latest notification. You are now a goblin. Profession change complete. Cain screamed. I said no. The monster, having killed the others, was now creeping up behind Cain. It let out a cry, Sororo. Cain's face darkened, his whole body trembling. Too late. Running is useless now. Damn it. There's no other way. Cain waved his hand, commanding Goblin, come out. System. Skill. Summon Goblin activated. Summon Goblin. Summons a goblin to fight for its master. A purple magic circle appeared. A goblin slowly crawled out from the circle. Don't appear with flashy effects like a dragon, for crying out loud. The green goblin appeared with an ugly face. It made a quee sound. Cain smirked. A goblin that looks completely useless. Whatever. I'll use it as bait and take the chance to run. He pointed at Gag. Cain ordered Goblin go. Defeat him. The goblin swung its wooden club, stretching its muscles. Quee! Gag let out a deafening roar. It swung its long arm. Sororo! Cain turned his face away. All right, time for me to run. No sooner had he thought it, the goblin had already decapitated Gag in the blink of an eye. Huh? WH dash. Gage fell to the ground, dust billowing everywhere, and Kane just stared blankly, unable to believe what was happening. The system chimed with a stream of notifications. Your experience has increased. Kane was astonished. What? You have learned a new skill. Feed Goblin. You have learned a new skill. Walk Goblin. The Goblin landed safely on the ground. Your summoned monster's experience has increased. It turned back, scratched its head, and grinned at him. Qui. Streams of updates kept popping up. Your summoned monster's experience has increased. Your summoned monster's experience has increased. It looked at him, its tongue still lolling out, drooling. Kane was stunned. Damn, this Feiwu looking. Useless looking Goblin. He began to doubt. His face contorted, sweat trickling down his forehead. Is it really max level? Scene cut. Gage gripping the arrogant man in its giant palm. It opens its horrifying maw, revealing teeth as sharp as razors. Without hesitation, it bites down. The man's upper body is torn apart, blood gushing, painting gruesome bright red streaks in the air. Catherine screams, a shriek echoing with ultimate fear, before she too is crushed by the monster's giant foot, her body mangled. Scene cut. Experiencing the horrific virtual world. Catherine in the real world is also significantly affected. She screams in panic. UARGH. Ugh. R. The attendant standing by rushes to where Catherine's immersion pod is. Miss! Miss, wake up! Miss! He frantically rips off the VR headset she's wearing. What he sees horrifies him. No, this is... Catherine is still lying there, but motionless, her eyes wide open, brow furrowed, tears and blood streaming from her nose. The virtual horror recoiled into reality, tearing the boundary between game and existence with a raw sense of death. The shock was irreversible, a fatal blow. Back to the Goblin's battle. It was still rampaging through enemies. Each blow was like tearing through wind. Every time it swung its arm, a series of 9999, 9,999 numbers flashed dazzlingly, representing the horrific damage it inflicted. You have leveled up, and then another hit and another. Each blow landed, and the same text appeared, repeating like a chaotic symphony. You have leveled up. You have leveled up. You have leveled up. The Goblin roared, its whole body trembling with excitement, its eyes bulging, the whites almost gone, only a burning, bright red remaining. It was as if it had gone mad, ready to tear apart anything in its path. It shrieked long, drawn-out cries, the sound echoing across the battlefield, mingling with the rain of 9999, 9,999 numbers and dozens of incessant notifications. You have leveled up. Kane bent down, picking up a low-level monster's mana stone from the ground, and sighed. Hey, give me a break, Goblin. Though he complained, Kane was hugging/carrying a pile of materials. Low-grade mana stones X999, wolf claws X999, wolf claws X999, and more wolf claws X999 piled into a mountain. On his shoulder was a backpack so large it looked like it would explode, yet his face was radiant and excited. He exclaimed, I'm out of hands to carry stuff. Kim Kane, Goblin Summoner, level 31. Strength, 4, Stamina, 2, Agility, 0, Intellect, 1 Luck, 0, Status Points, 26. He still hadn't fully recovered from what he'd just experienced. I cleared the dungeon by capturing Gage, but my protective teammates sacrificed themselves, so only by dying could I return. Kane looked up at the Goblin in front of him, its ugly face emitting shrill cries. But this guy cleared the mining dungeon all by himself, and didn't even level up, while I reached level 31. The system panel appeared with the information. Summon monster, Goblin. No information. He thought, I still can't see anything about it. They were still standing in a damp, gloomy cave. He crossed his arms, looking at the Goblin as if it were an unsolved mystery. How can a low-level mob like this Goblin be so strong? Isn't it game bug? His expression changed suddenly, his eyes deep set, his nose sharp like a demon's, mouth wide open, saliva spraying everywhere. He shouted, Who cares? If this is a bug, I have to exploit it as much as possible before they fix it. With this guy, I don't have to mine anymore, and I can become the best player in Heaven's Gate. At Nar Bank, the receptionist's voice called out, Next, customer number 36. She asked Kane, who was sitting in front of her, including all the wolf pelts. The total is 97,001. Do you want the money directly into your account? He thought, I can directly exchange items for cash through the bank. How awesome is this game? Finally, he spoke, no, can I transfer the money to a different account? But then he suddenly remembered. Oh right, I have other items I want to sell too. He continued, Gage's skin and heart. Hearing this, the employee replied, ah, if we include those, then your total is... Her eyes widened, her mouth moved, but no words came out. Huh, she quickly turned away. Boss, leaving Kane looking after her, dumbfounded. He picked his nose. What's up? Why is she going to find her boss when a customer is sitting right in front of her? A moment later, a cup of hot tea was poured into a strawberry red cup placed in front of Kane. The person serving him now was the manager of Nar Bank, a chubby uncle with a face as round as a bun, a fake business smile plastered on his lips. Well, is it to your liking? Kane took a small sip and whispered, It's too cold. The manager replied, Oh, I forgot to add hot water. He returned to the main issue, becoming serious again. But what business do you have with me? I just came to exchange items for money. Actually, it's nothing. I just have a better place for you to put your money. So, I thought we could chat for a bit. A better place? The manager kept smiling evenly. Don't you think leaving money in your account is a waste? Our bank has some very stable investments, so if you invest instead of just leaving it there. Kane frowned. Wait, invest? I know making money is important to you guys, but does a manager really have to do this? At most, I have 1,000,000 won. The manager's expression didn't change, but his eyebrows furrowed slightly. The professional smile, still there. 1,000,000? No. I thought you'd know the value of the items you brought. Gage's heart and skin at today's exchange rate. His final words left Kane stunned, his mouth agape, speechless. Are worth 230 million. After the meeting at the bank, Kane hugged the little goblin tightly, cheering excitedly. Goblin, thanks to you, I've paid off 10% of my debt. I didn't even want to summon you, and you came to me like that? Oh, you adorable thing. Seeing the clear benefits of owning this bizarre goblin, Kane was full of praise. Who said goblins are ugly? You're easy. Damn it, I can't lie. At least while we're in town, I won't summon you. But a few minutes later, he regretted it. Walking through the central district, all eyes were on the two strange creatures, a player and a goblin. He gritted his teeth and hurried along. This guy, I can't stop summoning it. Does it only disappear when I die? Damn, everyone's staring at me. People started whispering and gossiping. Someone snickered. Hey, look, there's a goblin in town. Who summoned it? It's so unsightly. Kane wanted the earth to swallow him whole, his face pale. I'm not a goblin. Look how ugly he is, haha. Suddenly, a heavy sound. It turned its head, letting out an incomprehensible shriek. That person had a voice as deep as thunder. What's this? He was Pawn, the destroyer of the Evaton Guild, standing imposing on a thunderstorm before the small goblin, a giant blade in his hand, his gaze as cold and sharp as a knife. How the hell is a goblin walking on the street? People cheered, Pawn the Destroyer. A murmur arose. It's Pawn the Destroyer from the Evaton Guild. Kane was bewildered. The Destroyer? That's a pretty cool name. Is he famous? Someone nearby whispered. No, he gave himself that title. Kane's face darkened. Oh no, no one who calls themselves the Destroyer is normal. Seeing the situation was bad, he shouted, Wait, it's not a monster. But before he could finish, Pawn's giant blade came down on the goblin's head. In an instant, the small goblin threw its wooden club into the air. Pawn was sent flying far away, dust billowing everywhere. Damage numbers appeared. Attack 9999, 9999. He coughed up blood. System, PK mode. Pain level does not exceed unconsciousness to prevent high-level players from bullying others. He's dead. The crowd was stunned, buzzing endlessly. Pawn the Destroyer was just destroyed. This goblin killed someone. Kane turned pale, a cold sweat running down his spine. Damn it, if they find out it's my summon. From the crowd, a hooded figure spoke, their voice cold. Getting toyed with by a goblin? How unsightly, Destroyer Pawn. This monster isn't even worth touching. It was the Evaton Guild. Ethan, a level 30 Dark Assassin. Mason, a level 28 Assassin. June, a level 27 Death Archer. And Raze, a level 28 Brutal Assassin. Ethan drew his sword, pointing it straight at the goblin. But you'll also take responsibility for messing with our guild. Kane swallowed hard. This is getting more complicated. My goblin won't lose, but if it takes all of them out, it'll be big trouble. He quickly stepped forward, shielding the goblin. Wait, hold on. Leave this goblin to me. Ethan cut him off. Who are you? Don't interfere with our business, or we'll kill you too. Kane tried to remain calm. But if all of you gang up on one goblin, it won't be good for your reputation. However, his goblin didn't care. It swung its arm. System. Goblin used stone throw. A small stone with 9,999 power flew by and smacked Mason on the head, sending him flying and collapsing. Speed King Mason is dead. Instantly, everyone rushed forward. Get him too. Kane didn't think twice. He bolted, the goblin running after him, chuckling. How did it turn out like this? I have a max-level goblin and a bright future. I thought my life in Heaven's Gate would be smooth sailing. Suddenly, from a corner, an old, white-bearded man shouted, "This way." Kane stopped and looked. Behind the door. Who are you? The man frowned, urging him, no time to explain. Hurry up. Kane didn't hesitate and dashed through the door, which slammed shut behind him. A moment later, Kane burst out of secret door, his face drained of color. Damn it. You said this way. Turns out, the old man was Silas the Cunning, a level 26 warrior, chasing him with a hammer. The path to your grave is right there. Kane hissed through gritted teeth. Damn it. He yelled at the system. Now what? Run. I'm out of breath. System. The Goblin Lord is amazed by your sneak attack. After making the enemy lower their guard, you have received 1 goblin point. Kane wondered, a sneak attack? It's calling me a sneak? He recalled being tearful earlier when it called him vulgar and weak, as he faced the Goblin Lord on its throne. Now it's calling me a sneak? He took slow steps. Originally, I did nothing wrong. He stopped. So, what was it that made me weak, vulgar, and sneaky? He glared. It was those bastards who forced me into their party, betrayed me, and suddenly attacked me. He commanded, listen carefully, Goblin. Now that I think about it, I'm getting really pissed off. It replied, yeah, we're tired of being looked down on for being weak. He turned his head, his face filled with a sinister expression, his eyes glinting with malice. I will destroy the Evaton Guild. The goblin burst into maniacal laughter. Gee, towards the Evaton Guild members, Ethan and June were leaping across rooftops. June glanced at his teammate running ahead. Did you really need to come with us just to take down someone like that? Dark Ethan? Ethan didn't turn around, his voice low. Don't be careless. That goblin, among us, Pawn the Destroyer is the weakest, but it killed him in 1 hit. There's something strange about that goblin. Suddenly, horrifying screams echoed from ahead. Ethan flinched and stopped. The screams were right next to where the old man who had tricked Kane into the house now lay unconscious on a pile of rubble. Ethan exclaimed, Silas the Cunning. But by then, a cold, dark shadow had silently appeared right behind him. It was the goblin, its eyes shining with killing intent. He spun around like lightning, slashing his dagger straight at it. Yua! However, the blow didn't leave a single scratch on the goblin. It stuck out its tongue. Kia! No way! No damage! Suddenly, Ethan remembered the moment Mason fell to the small stone the goblin had thrown. So, I wasn't mistaken then. Only now did he realize he was standing at death's door. I'm done for. I'm going to die. The goblin immediately rushed forward, swinging its wooden club at Ethan. But a sharp arrow flew by, stopping it. Ethan stared in stunned silence at the chaotic space. Something stopped its attack. Beside June, who was drawing her bow, she shouted, What are you still standing there for? Are you going to let that goblin kill you? He looked at her. June the Deadly. I'm facing a goblin? The goblin hopped around, taunting him. How can a low-level monster like this deal millions in damage? They must have pulled some trick. Without hesitation, Ethan unleashed his inner power, his entire body radiating streams of bright red light. Extreme assassin skill. I don't know who's messing with me, but Ethan, in an instant, became aggressive and frenzied. Extreme has reduced your speed by 90%. All current attacks are critical hits. You've been overwhelmed by rage. This is really annoying. June stood behind him, looking worried. He's in a state of maximum attack now. His MP is at 280. Magical light is surging around him. What are you doing? You're just fighting a goblin. Why are you using that skill? Ethan replied, Don't worry, this skill is just a passive. What kind of passive skill costs half your mana? The atmosphere grew increasingly suffocating. He twirled his 2 daggers, holding them in a reverse grip. Reverse grip, plus 30% damage, minus 50% critical hit rate. I'll finish it with 1 blow and move on to the next. June, hearing this, could only sigh. All right. Let's get this over with before anyone else sees. She leaped up, drew her bow, and shot. Archer skill, Gaze Arrow. Gaze Arrow has removed all movement speed debuffs within range. Blue light enveloped the area, simultaneously buffing her teammate, Ethan. The arrow sped towards the enemy. She warned, I don't want to be seen using this entire skill combo just to fight one goblin. He lunged like a flaming arrow, blue light covering his every movement. All attacks are critical hits, plus 30% damage. Movement debuffs removed. Assassin level passive, plus 20% damage. Damage increases with movement speed. Ethan growled with power. Playtime's over, goblin. He zipped past the goblin while it still stood there with a 0 above its head. Ethan suddenly realized, wait, could it be? The goblin turned its head, looked at him, and gave a slight smile. Instantly, Ethan was flung backward, slamming hard into the wall behind June. A large hole was imprinted, rocks flying everywhere. He screamed in agony. Amidst the chaotic battle scene, a figure gradually emerged from the hazy dust. June turned her head in astonishment. What just happened? An unexpected voice rang out. Who's finishing who in one blow? Why don't you say that after you reach max level? June sank to her knees, speechless. No way. This goblin isn't an ordinary monster. A horrifying laugh echoed. Kane stepped out, his eyes glinting with malice. He looked at June, his gaze as sharp as a knife. That's right. I summoned it. The goblin in front of her was still laughing gleefully, a distorted, grotesque sound. She was still unable to process the information. How can a goblin be this strong? Dark Ethan is one of the strongest in the Webtoon Guild. He didn't intend to pay attention to June's words. Kane's face contorted. This has nothing to do with you people. What's important here is that I'm angry. She curled up, a hint of anger on her face. What do we do to you? He put on an even more perverted expression. You really don't know why? It's your fault for being too attractive. At that moment, June screamed, You perverted maniac! Kane quickly tried to explain, seeing her lose her composure. Wait, I didn't mean it like that. I mean, you guys attacked us first, so me and my treasure are really stressed out right now. June, still panicking, shrieked, Your treasure is that stiff Peter? He began to get scared by her interpretation. Oh God, if anyone saw this, they'd totally misunderstand. Goblin, stop her from screaming. Below, there was a commotion. It's all people. Did you hear something? Look over there. It's those guys from before. Kane felt annoyed by the noise from below. Fisk, those people are here already? Hey Goblin, let's end this here and scram. It was still busy covering June's mouth. More murmurs from below. It's that goblin. It wiped out the entire Webtoon Guild and is about to harm the surviving girl. We could be next. Once again, his face contorted. Damn it. I just wanted revenge on the guild. Now I'm in this ridiculous situation. There's no escape. She was still struggling weakly. Kane, seeing the situation was bad, shouted an order to the goblin. Goblin, stop. Let her go. The crowd below was stunned again. That man. Did he just tell the goblin to release the girl? A guy in newbie gear is confronting a monster that even the Webtoon Guild couldn't handle. The goblin, still not understanding what was happening, stopped. Tears streamed down his face. June stared blankly. Stop it. It's over. The people below misheard. He said, the goblin is dead meat. Hey, you there. I don't know who you are, but good luck. Defeat it. We're cheering for you. Now it was Kane's turn to be confused. Huh? Why are they cheering for me? They should be booing me. He suddenly realized. Wait a minute. Don't they know I summoned this goblin? Well, it's understandable, I guess. An image flashed back to when Kane had puffed out his chest and declared, Let me handle this goblin. I don't want the Webtoon Guild to get hurt. He had rushed forward to shield June. She was moved. Oh, Kane, you're really screwed. I said that line, and this is actually Kane's fantasy. Meaning, right now, I'm a hero risking his life to save a girl from a monster. His face gradually darkened, a sinister smile playing on his lips. You don't want to die miserably like your comrades, do you? I'll spare your life if you promise to keep quiet about me and this goblin. June quickly agreed in her panic. Okay, I promise I won't say anything. He smiled in response, then quickly leashed the goblin. All right, goblin, you dare to invade the village, even though you're just a low-class monster, and even cause suffering to everyone. The goblin's neck was leashed. Skill, monster binding, chains of light. I won't forgive you. Kane dragged it away. He and the goblin blended into the surrounding crowd, who were murmuring. Monster binding skill. Chains of light. I can't believe someone in the newbie town can use such a high-level skill. The goblin is completely subdued, being dragged away like a pet. As he dragged it, he thought, actually, this is just the walk goblin skill. The screen showed. Goblin's mood has improved thanks to the strolling skill. Kane continued to play his part. Everyone step back. It's dangerous. I can only barely restrain it. She, still on the rooftop, observed the situation unfolding below. The crowd hadn't dispersed. Now I understand why the Evaton Guild was helpless. His estimated level must be over 50. Two men were arguing about this. 50? So it's not that the Evaton Guild is weak, but that no one here is strong enough to fight him. Kane materialized the sausage. I might not be able to win, but with my skills, I can drive it away. Screen display. Skill. Summon Goblin. Feed Goblin. He threw the sausage far from the village gate. The Goblin eagerly chased after its food. This is your end. As the Goblin ran out of the village gate, Kane quickly said, now, close the village gate immediately. The crowd was a bit stunned. It's over already? He pretended to wipe his sweat, turning around as if he had truly won. Is everyone all right? The crowd cheered. He did it. He drove away the Goblin. Kane breathed a sigh of relief. This should be settled for now. I almost got labeled as a psycho who wiped out a guild. Jun approached from behind. The remaining members of the guild are all dead and have been transported to the resurrection altar in the Lasco sanctuary. Only I know the relationship between you and the Goblin. I'll keep my promise. He looked at her. The girl from earlier. I think I can use her for something interesting. Kane turned his back to Jun. I heard that in Pascal, players have infinite HP and can't be attacked by monsters or other players. That's why it's called a sanctuary. He turned to look at her, making an ugly face. You better keep your word. If not, I'll kill you. Set up camp at the resurrection altar and kill you over and over by dealing damage exceeding infinity. I promise you that. Jun's eyes welled up with tears. No. Scene change. Kane lying on a comfortable bed with warm blankets. This isn't what I planned, but being in such a nice room in exchange for the good deed I did is worth it. I feel so proud. He remembered a scene from the past. Back then, I didn't have power, but if I did, I would have saved her. So hot. Suddenly, he sat up. Oops. I almost forgot. The Goblin points from that damn Goblin King. The information panel appeared. Kim Kane, Goblin Summoner. Goblin points. 1. I chose this profession because I felt some resemblance to goblins, and now I get points just for being called cunning and sneaky. He tapped on the skill shop. All skills are locked. The skill shop? All high-level skills were locked. So for now, there's probably only one option. Kane tapped on Rally. What does Rally do? The Goblin suddenly appeared. You have used the Goblin Rally skill. He was startled and screamed, Holy S8. One person, one monster, bouncing on a large bed. What the hell? Is this a reverse summoning skill? You idiot. If people find out you're here, we're both screwed. What do I do now? A voice called from outside. Explorer, sir, are you all right? Kane, flustered, replied to the NPC innkeeper. I'm fine. If you don't want to die, please go downstairs. The Goblin raised its club, looking somewhat angry. He quickly reassured it. I get it. Don't raise that thing anymore. I'm sorry about earlier. The moonlight shone through the window. Master and servant lay on the bed. Even if you do nothing, you're still ridiculed and attacked without reason. You're just like me. He let the Goblin rest its head on his arm. This world, it's full of bastards. Below, in the crowded tavern, Kane had come downstairs. A guy spoke up. Welcome. So you're the bastard from yesterday who saved a member of the Evaton Guild. He replied, Ah, yeah. It's so crowded. Without the Goblin around, I feel a little anxious. Ethan looked at him. Even though we were clearly enemies, you still helped. Thank you. Kane felt a chill down his spine. Can you not thank me with that murderous glare? Mason, sitting behind Jun, said, There's no need to be wary, Death Jun. He clearly has no intention of fighting. She thought to herself, of course, because the Goblin isn't here. You've all been fooled by him. Kane replied, Like you said, the reason I helped you, even though I was almost killed, is because I need something. Mason, as if expecting this answer, said, Whatever the reason, we owe you. The Evaton Guild never overlooks such matters. We'll help you with anything we can. Kane, after receiving Mason's promise of repayment, continued with his request. No matter how much I grind in this newbie area, I don't earn much. I'm over level 30 now. I want to move to the next area as soon as possible. You guys know how, right? Ethan, still with a gloomy expression, said, You're talking about Fire Rendell? And you know how to get there? Interrupting. The one who continued was Silas. That's me. I'm quite familiar with the way there. He was wary of the person next to him. That old man. Silas quickly apologized. I'm truly sorry. Silas cleared his throat. Ahem. Considering you faced that goblin alone, I assume you're very strong. Perhaps even stronger than us. Pon looked annoyed and clicked his tongue. Kane pondered, then glanced at Mason. Of course not. But if that guy had really attacked me yesterday, Mason would definitely have died in one hit, just like he said. Meanwhile, Silas explained a bit about the areas. The newbie area, also known as Lep, consists of 5 regular dungeons, a land of fresh flowers and grass, a stone mine, a forest grassland where slimes appear, a mine, a dark forest, and so on. You can enter these dungeons whenever you want. They're called open-world dungeons. The two stood facing each other. But if you want to leave Lep, you must clear the raid dungeon. Kane was somewhat curious. Raid dungeon? Boss. Ethan continued his explanation. A spatial gate appeared in his narrative. Unlike open-world dungeons, raid dungeons have gates that open and close at set times. They are dungeons with time limits and entry limits. Since they're the final dungeon of each area, only those who have leveled up sufficiently in that area should participate. He stood up. Lep's raid dungeon only opens once a month. The reason we gathered here was to defeat it. Kane felt sweat drenching his forehead. So, your appearance here means? Ethan seemed to flare up with anger. That's right. Yesterday was the day the raid dungeon opened, but that damn goblin ruined everything. Until the next raid opens, we'll be stuck in Lep. His face showed unease and disbelief. I'm stuck here for a month. He remembered the money he had earned and the things he had done. Holy crap, I made over 200 million from items dropped by that level 80 monster. My goblin can easily clear even harder dungeons. And now I have to waste a whole month in this damn town, where I can't earn a single one. He lost his temper and grabbed Ethan's shirt. Don't mess with me. A month? There must be another way. You mean I have to waste my precious time? Ethan replied coolly. Clearly, you're not too happy either. That's right. Everyone here is also annoyed about the delay. He brushed Kane's hand away. The debt has been paid. Let's go. One by one, they walked past him, his lonely figure standing in the gradually emptying tavern. Jun also gave him a look and quickly left with the others. Outside, it was dark. They walked in a line. The goblin had been hiding somewhere since when? A crimson spatial gate appeared. The notification screen popped up. Raid dungeon boss has appeared. Silas was surprised. Impossible. There should be at least 30 more days until the next raid. Ethan was clearly suspicious. Raid boss. Kane, inside, had also received the notification. It's open already? Scene changed to somewhere in the forest where, after the spatial gate was successfully activated, Pon the Destroyer smirked with delight. The dungeon, it really opened. All the warriors, including him, stood looking at the spatial circle, ready to enter and join the fight. In just one day, the raid boss is about to begin. Behind Ethan, who was looking at it with crossed arms, Silas stood calmly beside him and replied, There's no one. The people who were ready to clear it yesterday left because they couldn't wait, and they moved to a new area. Hearing the old man, Ethan pondered and then said, So, this time it's just us? King could no longer remain silent. He sneered and spoke up. I knew it. His voice made everyone turn to look at him, including the man in the hooded cloak hiding his face. You tricked me. I should have realized this when you told me I had to wait a whole month. You betrayed me to go ahead. Kane shouted angrily in front of everyone. I'm such an idiot for trusting you again after everything I've been through. June, flustered, turned to try and clear up the misunderstanding. That's not it. You're misunderstanding. We didn't. Before she could finish, a low, threatening voice, along with Ethan's murderous eyes, looked at him with arms akimbo. Oh dear. So are you going or not? Kane flinched slightly at the murderous aura in front of him and replied, Although I'm a bit wary, of course. Am I just going to sit here and watch you guys go in and fill your pockets? I'll tell you, you have a really weird personality. Ethan didn't care what the other person said about him. After hearing the answer he needed, he said seriously, All right then. Let me explain quickly before we go in. Looking at the swirling spatial circle leading to the dangerous dungeon, he explained, According to the information we have, there's only one path to the boss raid, also known as R. That means we'll face the boss as soon as we enter, so be vigilant. His gaze quickly scanned the levels of everyone in the group, like June the archer or Silas the old assassin, all level 26 warriors. Of course, I don't think it will be that dangerous, considering it's still below our level, but a little caution won't hurt anyone. The more he heard, the more the excitement within upon the level 28 destroyer burned. He laughed proudly. Even if our guild leader isn't here, the motto of the Evaton Guild is always to win. He and everyone else shouted and jumped into the portal. A boss like this will only take us 10 seconds to kill. Ethan could only laugh at the group's enthusiasm and then slowly stepped in. Let's go, Evaton. As Kane was about to go, he paused slightly and whispered a reminder to the summoned creature hiding behind a tree behind him. Goblin, they'll have a real headache if they know you're with me. So wait here until I call you. He remembered the tattered and miserable state he was in when he found out he had been painfully betrayed. He thought about it and considered experience to be wary of everyone betraying him again like that time. I won't let that happen again. In his hand, he was holding a glowing blue crystal from the system, a high-grade healing stone, reviving a player with 100% health when their health reaches 0. I also have a high-grade healing stone to save myself. Wait, haven't I used this already? He shook his head repeatedly, dismissing the thought, and then ran straight into the dungeon. Damn it, whatever. Upon entering the dungeon, Kane looked around to get his bearings. So this is a raid boss? Before him was a tall, giant boss codenamed Steel Giant, level 40, chasing the Evaton Guild group towards him, making Kane scream in panic. What the hell? This is a hidden dungeon. A hidden dungeon is the home of the Steel Giant. Ethan, while running, turned to the old man. Silas the Cunning, what kind of crazy plan do you have this time? Unfortunately for him, the person he was asking was too busy running for his life and screaming, how the hell would I know? June, pale-faced, ran and shouted, Kane, don't just sit there, get to the portal. Although it was a dire situation, he just smirked contemptuously. Are you kidding me? At this point, Kane had gone from fear and confusion to crazed insanity, just standing there and shouting. You want to run from a hidden dungeon? Don't you know what kind of rewards a hidden dungeon has? The giant steel boss roared while he stood there rambling like a madman. Everyone knows that. It's just that the boss is level 40. It won't just end with our characters dying if we get hit by that thing. But the level difference is only 10. It won't be too bad if we team up. We'll just vomit blood and pass out if we're defeated. You think good rewards come easy? You have no idea how good the rewards from a hidden dungeon are. The others were now forced to ignore him, as his pride and arrogance had overshadowed his fear, and they ran to save their own lives. But Kane remained rooted to the spot, facing the giant boss. All right, you can run. I'll take all the rewards myself. I'll eat it all. He now seemed like an idiot trying to act cool until the last moment of his life, yelling, Goblin, I choose you. Unfortunately, while the master was trying to call its name, the goblin was dazed somewhere in the forest, gazing up at the strangely bright and peaceful starry sky. In the hidden dungeon, Kane tried to call out in vain, but just as he finished speaking, he took a punch from the steel giant. I said, get out here quickly, goblin. Pon came out and saw the loud-mouthed young man lying on the ground with a long trail of blood. The system announced, Kane has died. Damn, is it the guy who fought the goblins yesterday? Ethan didn't care if the young man lived or died. Who cares what happens to him? More importantly, he turned towards where there was only a dungeon wall instead of a spatial gate. The portal is closed. This incident shocked everyone. What? Only high-level raid dungeons close their portals this early. This should be a hidden dungeon. Silas, sweat beading on his somewhat serious face, was assessing the current situation. We underestimated this place. Just like how a basic dungeon can transform from low to high level, a high-level monster raid can also appear in a hidden dungeon. The steel giant stood there, roaring as if displaying the power of a boss. That's why we encountered this mysterious high-level raid boss. We have no choice but to fight. Kane, in real life, wearing the VR headset, suddenly screamed from taking a punch from that boss. I was killed in just one hit. Even though my level is over 32, I know it's level 40, but he checked his information panel. The system displayed full information, from strength to unused status points, which was 26. Reading this, he remembered he hadn't used them. Damn it, I forgot to use my status points. His character was dead, lying face down on the floor. And then there was the culprit. Anyway, I can't summon the goblin because the portal is closed. I was so close. The treasure was right in front of me. You useless, damn goblin. I'm going to lose all the rewards. At this moment, Ethan, with determined eyes, shouted, Evaton, begin the hunt. Since he was lying face down, Kane didn't know the situation. So when he heard the command from the other group, he was confused. What? Just then, the archer's skill launched an arrow, and all her teammates' speed would be doubled. Old Silas stood there observing while analyzing. Ethan, Assassin of Darkness. Mason, Master of Speed. You two attack at first and find its weakness. With June increasing the God of Death's movement speed, the enemy won't have time to react. Kane only heard his voice, so he was quite bewildered. Who's he talking to? Mason used his nimble speed to jump from the monster's leg up to near its head. It roared, about to counterattack, but before it could do anything, it suffered many lightning-fast attacks from Ethan's total annihilation slash. The old man was still standing there, continuing to speculate. All monsters have weaknesses. 16 full-body slashes from both of them. That means there will be 32 slashes injuring its entire body, and we can find its weakness by seeing which wound is deepest. After they combined their attacks, they hid far away from the monster. Ethan kept watch. Did you find its weakness? Mason, beside him, looked at the enemy and replied, Not yet. None of the wounds are harming it. I know this attack was just to find the enemy's weakness, but it's a bit difficult. Ethan crossed his arms and chuckled lightly. I agree with you. This boss is quite strong. There are two possibilities. Either its defense is high, or... He jumped up and ran on the monster's arm, using the peerless sword skill to slash wildly all over the monster, making it bleed. That's not it, and small attacks won't work on it, because this steel giant has a high HP pool. HP, 28, 200/30, 000. Skill, Hatred of the Weak. Passive skill, Hatred of the Weak. Attacks dealing less than 5% of maximum health are nullified. Pawn the Destroyer stood there and called out, Ethan of Darkness, you're the only one who can deal significant damage like that to a level 40. Old Silas immediately objected. No, he's not the one with the strongest ultimate attack. There's someone who can do better, depending on the conditions. That person was none other than June, drawing her bow with the supreme archer skill, Death Arrow. She used HP to draw the bowstring, because the more HP used, the more damage. People will make me the guild leader if they find out I have this skill. Seeing her use this dangerous but high damage skill made Pawn shout to stop her. Death June, I don't know what that is, but if you need preparation time, I can give you plenty. He used his battle cry to shake the ground, making himself the target for the monster. On Kane's side, lying face down and witnessing everything, he stared in shock. That idiot. He's taunting the monster when he could run and survive. The monster slammed a powerful blow down where he was, but Pawn had successfully dodged it. He was pleased that it had fallen into his trap. This is nothing. I thought you'd be stronger. Old Silas raised his weapon, reminding him, don't let your guard down, Destroyer Pawn, for the plan to succeed. He used the skill, Share Pain, with Pawn, which shares damage with another target, as the one with more HP would take more damage. Kane, now in spirit form, witnessed the whole thing and was horrified by this risky plan. They're low-level players. They're not even hidden classes. Ethan, level 30, along with Mason and the others, prepared for the next step. While the two warriors distract the monster, we assassins will destroy its defenses with our passive skill. The assassin's passive skill, Exploit Weakness, reduces the enemy's defense by 2% with a 1% chance on attack, stackable up to 50%. Why are these bastards so strong? Kane watched as everyone in the guild took turns attacking the giant boss, feeling a sense of admiration. So this is what a guild is like? Damn it, they're going to kill this boss. His hand clutched the healing stone. I can't get experience or rewards if I'm dead. When a monster was about to close in on Pawn the Destroyer, making him panic, another taunting voice rang out. You bastard, why are you looking that way? The system announced that the monster had noticed another player. I'm the one fighting here, you know. The healing stone began to crack, preparing to revive the already dead Kane. He sneered defiantly. I can't watch these pathetic guys fight anymore. I'll help them since I have the highest level among everyone. High-grade healing stone revives a player with 100% HP when their HP reaches 0. The system announced that the monster's target had changed. The steel giant had chosen Kim Kane as its target. He smirked. The main character usually arrives late. The steel giant used a large-scale skill, Purify Ground, killing many other participating players. Minsu Blood-Eye has died. Suji the Warrior has died. Hyeon-Su Bloodthirsty has died. And even Mason, Master of Speed, has died. The remaining survivors blamed him after realizing a lot, series/many, of people had died. Why didn't you revive sooner, you bastard? Players were defeated one by the steel giant, their HP gradually depleting until they were eliminated. The bodies of players littered the area. Some guy who had been witnessing the whole scene screamed, his face extremely fierce. Why did you hurt my comrades? Silas, standing nearby with his hammer, his face panicked, shouted loudly with worry. No. Don't lose your guard now. System notification. Warrior skill. Finishing blow. A surge of power enveloped him. Pawn's two red hands gripped his sword, preparing to attack the monster from behind. Suddenly, the monster turned, swatting Pawn's sword away, causing him to lose 3,890 HP. Battle was knocked down after one blow from the monster. Suddenly, Silas lost 2,456 HP. He was bewildered as the skill system displayed. Share pain. Share pain with another target. The one with higher HP will take more damage. Blood spewed from Silas's mouth, his voice trembling. Idiot! System notification. Pawn the Destroyer has died. Silas the Wise has died. Cain was terrified. What have I done? Cain's face turned pale, and he said loudly, This isn't my fault. The only thing I did wrong was revive myself. Suddenly, Ethan jumped down, a sharp iron dagger in his hand, his determined eyes looking at the monster with calculation. Monsters always focus on healers and range damage dealers rather than fighters. Ethan remembered Pawn's burst of power, but because of the battle cry taunt skill, the monster had targeted their fighter, Pawn the Destroyer. Ethan was wary. Many monsters, the moment a player we didn't care about revives, it restores its anger towards us assassins. We didn't even have a chance to react when all of them were killed. Even our fighter couldn't. June, exuding green energy, stood not far away, aiming her bow at the monster, her face full of fear. She stammered, What should we do? Dark Ethan, should I shoot now? The archer's skill system displayed. Ultimate Death Arrow. Uses HP to draw the bowstring. The more HP, the greater the destructive power. A line of white text appeared. Death June. Remaining HP, 46%. She had raised her bow. The power of June. Ethan, startled, immediately shouted, Calm down, Death June. If you shoot now, our entire plan will be ruined. He thought to himself, we can't even fully stack the female assassin's passive skill yet. The monster roared. System notification. Passive assassination skill. Exploit weakness. Reduces enemy's defense by 2% on attack with a 1% chance. Can stack up to 5 times. The Steel Giant's system announced. 3 stacks. One of them thought, not enough to kill it in one shot. Ethan rushed towards the monster. I'll draw its aggro. Try not to cancel the skill. Someone spoke up. If this isn't your one-shot kill, we can't win. June took out an arrow, power, spreading to it. She gritted her teeth, raised her bow into a shooting stance. Cain spoke up. Hey, can I help with anything? June's voice was loud. What can you do without your goblin, huh? She frowned, glaring at him. Don't try to do anything now. You're nothing but a nuisance to us. June's words pierced deep into Cain's mind. He stepped back, his face stunned. Why is she looking at me like that? Because I don't have my goblin? He looked at everything happening, reassuring himself. It's clearly your fault. Because of you, I couldn't bring my goblin. You're the ones who are wrong. Cain's face darkened, a contemptuous sneer, killing intent evident. You guys are always this weak. You dare treat me like this, even though there's no other way out without relying on me? Fine. I'll let you struggle until you all die. The monster roared again. The monster's system announced. Steel Giant has chosen Death June as its target. Ethan chuckled to himself. This is I thought. It prioritizes archers as our ranged damage dealers. He rushed forward. Where are you looking, huh? I'm your opponent. Ethan thought while using the dual blade skill to attack the monster's body, causing it to lose 1920 HP. This is another dangerous move. He had provoked the monster. It was about to attack Ethan. He quickly dodged. Not done yet. Ethan rushed at the monster again. This is how to attract attention. He used the dual blade skill again, attacking its spine, causing it to lose 1908 HP. Ethan landed safely on the ground. When he first hit the monster, he gained momentum to turn back to it. Ethan rushed to the monster again, his expression serious, as if he had calculated everything. Ethan used the dual blade skill for the 3rd time, this time on the monster's chest. Now the monster lost 1912 HP. He shouted loudly. Another way to attract its attention is to deal the most damage. Ethan landed on the ground, dust swirling around him. So, It only took 3 of my full power attacks for you to consider me a threat. Huh? The monster, standing opposite Ethan, rushed at him again. System notification. Steel Giant has chosen Dark Ethan as its target. The system displayed the Steel Giant's information panel, level 40. HP, 22 for 60/30, 300. The monster looked at Ethan with blood-red eyes, its mouth wide open, revealing sharp teeth. He thought to himself, although sheer pain only stacks 3 times, this attack has compensated for that. Now, all I need to do is give her time to charge up. Ethan rushed forward again, thick dust rising with his every movement. What's wrong? Are you angry? System display. Assassin skill. Quick dodge. Can dodge all attacks for the next 3 seconds. Ethan roared confidently. Your next 3 seconds are mine now. Just as he finished speaking, a red system notification appeared in front of Ethan. You do not have enough HP. He was like dead. Before Ethan could react, the monster swung its arm, sending him flying far away. Kane was stunned when he saw that scene. Ethan's eyes widened, his body flung to Kane's feet. System notification. Dark Ethan has died. Before he died, he could only say one word, "Oh." Kane shouted loudly. You slowpoke. You were so confident, and now this is what happens. I should have just stayed down. I shouldn't have revived, huh? June replied, What the? Are you serious? You think I'm a type of idiot who just stands here charging this bow? The mere fact that you revived yourself ruined the whole plan. They pressed their foreheads together, yelling at each other. Kane shouted straight into June's face. You idiots! Did you really think you could kill that thing if I didn't revive? She refused to back down. No, you bastard. Just give me 10 more seconds, and I would have killed it. He retorted, Liar. I'd rather let everyone die than see you guys get all the rewards without me. They argued so loudly that they attracted its attention. It roared. The two of them stopped arguing, looking terrified at the approaching monster, and shouted in unison. The monster advanced step by step towards them, the ground beneath its feet crumbling with each step. System notification. Steel Giant has chosen Death June as its target. The two stood frozen. She raised her bow, her voice serious. Damn it. Now is not the time to argue. I haven't fully charged yet, but now there's only one chance to shoot. June got into position, glancing at Kane, who was muttering something incomprehensible. What the hell are you doing? He turned back, a sly grin on his face. Just wait. I have a question. While you're charging, you can't move, right? Her eyes widened, her voice panicked. What are you planning to do? June's eyes welled up as she saw Kane approach, reaching out his hand. Don't come near me. He piggybacked her and ran like the wind. She screamed in fear. Oh my God. Kane replied, You said you just needed 10 more seconds, right? The monster punched straight at where they were standing, but thanks to his lightning speed, he had dodged it. June was surprised. No way. How do you have speed almost on par with Dark Ethan? Kane chuckled, not answering, but thought to himself, It's because I put all my status points into agility. That's why. System display. Kim Kane, Goblin Summoner, level 31. Strength, 3, Stamina, 2, Agility, 26, Intellect, 1 Luck, 0. He thought again, even an assassin wouldn't dare put all their points into agility. I might not be an assassin, but my speed is on par. His thoughts continued. Anyway, that argument just now gave me another goblin point. System display. Goblin point. 1. He only gave me this one thing, and I've become this extraordinary? Damn you, Goblin King. Are you trying to tell me I'm the one who's wrong, or what? June spoke up while on Kane's shoulder, dodging the monster's attacks. Ready. His voice was urgent. Then shoot. June said irritably, Don't rush me. You think aiming while moving at high speed is easy. She was tense, focusing on aiming at the monster. If this arrow misses, we're dead meat. Kane interrupted. Don't tell me that. He laughed excitedly, rushing towards the monster. June, terrified, looked like she was about to cry as Kane moved too fast. You better pay me back tenfold for the HP I just lost and a stronger healing stone. He ran around the monster, dazing it. The monster kept thrashing wildly, but missed them. Suddenly, Kane jumped up from behind the monster, giving June an easier shot. System notification. Archer skill. Ultimate Death Arrow. Kane laughed loudly. Power radiated from her as she prepared to shoot the monster. System display. Death June. Remaining HP, 1%. He shouted loudly, Finish it. The monster, furious, roared loudly, raising both hands high. System notification. Steel Giant has begun using AoE skill. World Ender. It slammed down on the ground. Dust and rocks flew everywhere. Kane, startled, backed away. Large rocks fell around him. Ugh. So was hiding this skill until the end. The monster's attack had caused the ground to sink into a deep pit. Rocks flew everywhere again. It was an area of effect attack. Except for June, who only has 1% HP. Because I revived myself earlier, I only have 100 HP left. That means if I take this hit, I'm sleeping on the spot. June tried to clear the rocks to aim. There are too many obstacles. Her voice was full of worry. At this rate, I can't hit it. Wait, my brain is showing me something. She wondered, a way out of this situation? He answered nonchalantly, no. Memories of when I used to play with my friends. June's voice was urgent. It's a flashback. Dad, Dad. Suddenly, a crack appeared beside them. A small green hand was trying to pry the crack open to escape. A goblin's head emerged. Above its head, it had 9,999 HP. She exclaimed in surprise. Goblin. He shouted loudly. Hey, you damn dog. What took you so long? I feel like the last time I used Rally was a whole week ago. June looked at the goblin, slightly worried. What did I just witness? Did that thing just move itself from an attack into a dungeon space to enter? How is that even possible? A gust of wind swept up the rocks. Secret movement. The monster attacked again, but the goblin blocked it. HP display. Not applicable. Goblin shield. The monster roared loudly, rushing towards the two of them. Kane sneered. Your last words are a bit noisy, hidden boss. June was ready to shoot. The goblin also helped her. Now it's time to finish this. June shot straight, hitting the monster. Skill. 22,520. Ultimate death arrow, full power. A large hole was blown through the monster's chest. It fell to the ground, making the dungeon shake slightly. System notification. You have cleared the hidden dungeon, home of the Steel Giant. June stared blankly, unable to believe her eyes. We won. We really cleared the hidden dungeon. System display. You have leveled up. Death June. Archer, level 27 to level 31. Kane jumped to the ground. You have leveled up. Kim Kane, Goblin Summoner, level 31 to level 34. He roared. Rewards. Give me the damn rewards now. The system popped up a notification. All dead characters have been revived after you completed the raid. Ethan just appeared. Everyone's safe, right? Pawn also gradually became clear. My mouth still tastes like blood. What a relief. It's finally over. If it had leveled up again, we would have been in real danger. At this moment, Silas's eyes darted in two directions. This is Silas the Cunning, level 26 warrior. He looked over and was startled. Wait, Silas is dead. He then pointed out how to hit him hard. He'll be back to normal. Ethan closed his eyes. Now, do you care to explain what happened earlier? Over on Kane's side, he shouted loudly. Don't come any closer, okay? This made the others wonder. What the hell is wrong with him? June frowned, confused about it. This is Kane jumped down, the system announced. You have leveled up. Kim Kane, Goblin Summoner, level 31 to level 34. He excitedly yelled. Rewards. Give me the rewards now. Over here, a message arrived. You are not eligible to unlock the hidden profession. She exclaimed in disbelief. I'm still not eligible to unlock the hidden profession? Because June cleared the dungeon screen and still isn't eligible. Only now did Kane realize. Even if we meet the conditions to evolve our profession by receiving the Goblin King's favor, we still can't evolve our profession if we don't meet certain conditions in the hidden dungeon. So that's it. No matter how goblins fight, as long as we meet those conditions, we can evolve our profession without fighting the boss monster. Besides, defeating the boss monster after evolving to a hidden profession seems more in line with the natural order. He really felt curious about what that profession was. But thinking about it now was pointless. Kane's mouth hung open, the goblin standing behind him. Now I have to get the rewards that dropped. Here, it has to be right now. She quickly spoke up to intervene. Wait. Maybe we were the ones who dealt the finishing blow, but everyone fought together. We have to share the rewards after asking everyone's opinion, right? But he ignored her, roaring, his hand still clutching the item. June calmly recounted. Since then, he's been like that. Ethan propped himself up, wondering, who is he? That goblin. Meanwhile, he was still screaming, Precious President. She corrected him. It's Precious. Ethan spoke up. So, it seems the dungeon boss is dead. You've helped us twice now. We've achieved our goal. We won't be greedy for those unexpected rewards. Kane shot a wary glance over. Are you serious? Suddenly, Silas walked over and stomped on the material, shattering it. He raised his staff behind his head. System warning. Silas the Cunning has activated Cunning. His voice was low. I told you before not to be greedy for this reward. Ethan nodded in agreement. He's right about him. Cain, furious, roared, bastard. I knew you'd do this to me. You betrayed me not just once, but twice. Ethan spoke up, reminding him, dealing with you right now wouldn't be a problem for us. If we wanted to use force to take it, we would have done so earlier. I'm fine with you taking all the normal rewards. Those were material item, crushed steel X3, material item, high purity steel X1, unique item, giant iron bow of the Iron Giant. Only now did he raise the issue. But that bow isn't a unique item? Cain clutched it tightly, shouting, so what? So what? Ethan explained, you're not even an archer. What are you going to do with that bow? Use it to start a fire. Cain gritted his teeth, thinking bitterly, damn it, I knew it. Because the system has specified, unique item, giant iron bow of the Iron Giant, cannot be sold. For archers only. That was what frustrated him. He couldn't sell the unique item, nor could he use it if he wasn't the right class. Nevertheless, Cain remained stubborn. I can't use it now, but later, when I change my profession, I can use it. Ethan coldly advised, don't be too greedy and give it to June, the sower of death. At this, he laughed coldly. All right, I'll give this weapon, but I want to trade. Ethan was astonished. What? Cain then stood up. This is an unsellable item. That makes it priceless. He tightened his grip on the bow, smiling smugly. Who will be at a disadvantage if I take this item? Huh? You'll have to buy this item from me. Silas's face contorted unpleasantly. Don't tell me the reason he endured until we revived was just to sell that item. Cain and the goblin grinned widely, their eyes bulging. Ethan was put in a passive position, thinking, this is utterly depraved. It reminds me of that goblin from before when it was hiding on a rock because it and him are a team now. After a while, June took the bow and slung it over her shoulder to try it on. She was June, the sower of death, level 31 archer, possessing the unique item. Giant iron bow of the Iron Giant. Unsellable, archer only. After the transaction, Cain said politely, thanks for buying, Evaton. Ethan didn't hesitate to say bluntly, I've been thinking about this for a while, but you really have a knack for being disliked. Ethan looked down. Where will you go after you leave here? Cain answered frankly, isn't that obvious? He looked up defiantly. Of course, to a place without your faces. Ethan didn't like this attitude much. You're being too catty. Cain called after him, but that sounds good, though. Ethan left indifferently. Shall we go? June lingered, looking back. They were the Evaton Guild. Currently, the goblin was desperately trying to put out the fire on its body. He muttered softly, this goblin and Kim Cain, all of them clear the hidden boss raid. The only regret is losing that unique bow, but I couldn't use it anyway, especially since in return, I got something more useful. Usable item, Thief's Gloves. You have one chance to steal anything, but you cannot steal from a character of a higher level than yours. Two people using this item cannot steal from each other. Plus, this is a jackpot. Material item, high purity steel X1. Just a moment ago, I was just a mining player. Those idiots were too focused on that unique weapon and didn't realize the true value of this. He gleefully held the items. Forget the unique weapon. I just need these. Material item, crushed steel X3. Material item, high purity steel X1. You guys betrayed me first, right? Scene changed to the bustling Fire Rendell, Phoenix Plaza. Cain let out an impressed sound. So many high-level players. I've never seen anyone wearing a full set before. I wonder how much money I could make by grinding them into powder and selling it. He took a deep, excited breath. I can smell money. Cain waited anxiously. But first things first. Although paying off all my debt is a good idea, I need to change my equipment first. He reminisced, thinking, even though it was a hidden boss, the fact that I died in one hit when fighting a monster 9 levels lower than me was shocking. It means the current outfit Cain is wearing attracts even flies. But to be fair, I've been wearing this armor since level 3. Tattered armor. Level requirement, 3, defense, -1. Wait, why is the defense stat negative? At this moment, the goblin suddenly tugged at his trouser leg. Cain shouted, what is it? He warned it. I swear if you cause trouble in the village. A large man with pure white fur roared, cutting him off. He became panicked. A monster? Cain started to get flustered. Oh crap. Why is a level monster appearing here? Goblin, protect me. Irene is its master, she cooed. Oh my, I've never seen anyone with a fairy summon before. She suddenly wondered, could it be the monster you summoned? This was Irene, Summoner, level 76. He gaped in amazement. Someone is writing it. So that means this monster is also a summon. She kindly reminded him, no need to be so wary. Min, her summon, is very well behaved in the village. Cain hesitated, but it's drooling so much. He stared warily. This person is very strong. There's no need to fight her to know. Cain could tell that most guilds, including Evaton, wouldn't even be a match for her. Irene sat comfortably on its back. You adorable child. May I have the honor of knowing your name? He misunderstood, thinking she was asking him. Kim Cain. She immediately refuted. No, I was talking to the child next to you. I heard you call it Goblin earlier. Irene's bangs covered a quarter of her face. You still haven't given a name, have you? Cain tried to cover his embarrassment by evading. I mean, who cares? Anyway, does anyone name their summons? Besides, you call this thing cute. Irene analyzed. A one-sided relationship is definitely an unstable one, you know? Look at your summon. She explained the goblin's actions. It's acting aggressive because its master, who still hasn't even given it a name, ordered it to protect me before leaving. Before leaving, Irene reminded him, I hope the next time we meet, you won't be such a boring person, Kim Cain. Let's go, Ms. He quickly saw her off. Right. Thank you very much for your advice. Because I don't need it. Me and this thing have no problems at all. Let's go, Goblin. They went to the player house of HFY. Seeing him, he was startled. Wait a minute. Your equipment. He crossed his arms, criticizing, it's garbage, what else? You might as well wear real garbage now. This was NPC Humphrey Foulmouth. Cain hastily explained. Teach, that's why I came here, to buy better stuff. He rummaged around for a while. This one is probably too expensive for trash like you. This one should be fine. Finally, an equipment item. Hardened steel breastplate. Price, 350 gold. He mumbled his calculations. 350 gold, converted to real money. That's almost $40. Therefore, Cain had to consider for a moment. Even if I have a max level summon, everything will end if I, the summoner, die. So I need a minimum level of defense. After deliberating, he tapped on the buy button. Humphrey gruffly brought it out and placed it on the table. At least you have an eye for equipment. Buy it and use it well because I used the best steel to make it for you idiots. Cain cursed silently. Damn it. He's exactly like his name. When he put it on, he was extremely surprised. This armor is nice, but Cain had a problem. Damn it. I absolutely can't move. He scolded back. Because people like you shouldn't go anywhere. Equipment item. Hardened steel breastplate. Stat requirement. Strength 24. Kim Cain strength. 4. This armor is too heavy for you. You will not be able to move. He grumbled to himself. Damn it. I invested all my points in agility. Because I had to fight the steel giant. Now I have to sell it back. He immediately changed his tune. You want me to buy such a piece of trash armor? Sell? I'll buy this hardened steel breastplate for 30 gold coins. Cain jumped up in protest. What the hell? You just sold this to me for 350 gold coins. Are you scamming me, NPC? Suddenly, an exclamation mark lit up above Humphrey's head. He saw it too. Excuse me, what's that exclamation mark on your head for? He replied vaguely, not here. And then Humphrey suddenly turned around and rummaged through his things. I can't find it. Cain found it strange. What the hell is he doing? He picked up a knife and a chisel, agitated. My hammer is gone. Without it, I can't forge anything. He glanced at the 3 hammers on the table. But you have more than one hammer. Humphrey continued searching. No, I need my hammer. He picked up another hammer. That hammer is definitely in the underground waterway dungeon, at the village entrance. Go find it for me. System quest, Humphrey's trouble. Find Humphrey's smithing hammer. Reward, you gain the right to process materials to forge armor. Only now did Cain understand. The exclamation mark on his head was a quest notification. I have the right to process materials to forge armor? Suddenly, he thought back to the previous reward. Wait, so the material items I got after defeating the hidden boss were that expensive? That's why those materials were so expensive. Material item, crushed steel X3. Material item, high purity steel X1. If I can now process them into equipment. Cain became interested. You said underground waterway, right? The notification panel recorded. Humphrey's trouble. You have accepted the quest. As he walked to the dungeon entrance, he felt relaxed. I don't need to worry about other party members. They just hinder me. This meant Kane was extremely excited. I'll clear a dungeon this easy in less than 30 minutes. Suddenly, he heard the old man shout, "What are you still standing there for, you idiot?" Kane, startled, slowly turned his head. Only then did the system display the quest conditions. He ordered aggressively, "Go get my hammer now." The introduction panel voiceover sounded. NPC Humphrey Foulmouth, level 13 warrior. Quest will fail if Humphrey dies. He cried out in anguish. "Why the hell are you following me?